course, I know it's long. I put a lot of effort into being very specific, right?
Yeah.
About all the instructions are there. So please, if I get 50 emails from you about what is the requirement for Seminar 3, it's all here. I mean, honestly, it's my time. If I answer your emails, I don't have time for correcting your papers from the previous course, right? Just honestly, this is the case, right? So instead, if you read and still don't know, of course, contact me. But first read, right? That's the obvious thing, but apparently not always so obvious, right? So please do so. And I've made it relatively simple, right? It's a slightly different structure than the DLA course, definitely different than the EU course, which was not mine, so it was just structured differently. But just one thing that I want you to observe is that the first two seminars are simple literature seminars. No assignments are required unless you miss the seminar, right? So if you do come, it's a discussion seminar. You read the literature and then you come and discuss. If you haven't read the literature and come and just hope that people will tell you, I will drive you out of the room, right? Everybody is supposed to talk and contribute and learn, right? We do not learn if one person, you talk in smaller groups. If only one person speaks in the smaller group, this person feels that she or he has done all the job and the others just want to take advantage of that, right? This is not a good learning environment. So everybody please, I'm taking you as adults. I'm not using any ticket system as I did during DLA. I assume that you have read once you enter the room, right? Okay. And this will make a better seminar, right? It's not only that I'm going to go around and punish you, right? It's for your own good. The exam at the end is tough if you start reading the last week, right? If you look at the schedule, there are a couple of free days before the exam. No way you're going to read everything during those days, right? Start reading now. And you have 2 books and articles. Don't skip the articles. A lot of questions for the seminars and for the exam will be from the articles, right? So the articles are essential, right? So both books and articles you have to read, okay? If you have any trouble reaching them, whatever, let me know as soon as possible, right? I have double checked, so it should be good. But if there's some trouble, just let me know, okay?
Last article,
you couldn't...
I don't know, it's like even that abortion should have
Which one was that?
The very, very last one.
Roczland Jorel?
Yes, I think.
No,
Couldn't
Sundet.
get it out, yeah. I mean, very, very last one.
Okay, I'm gonna check it, double check it. Thank you.
It exists actually in this, what is this, scientific, these articles, but when you click on the
It
link,
doesn't work, okay.
It won't work.
It might be an agreement the library has, so when I checked before the summer, it was working, but I'll double check. Good, thank you. Okay, if it's not available, I'll just upload it or some way make it available for you, right? So, good. Okay, and we have specific reading instructions for every lecture. Obviously, I will not question you during the lecture. That's an indication that this is the pace you should keep for reading, right? To actually make it until the exam. And the exam is divided in 2 parts, right? So one is a regular in-class exam where you have a combination of false and true questions, open questions with fill-in blanks, so like a regular one that you've used to from the DLA course as well. And then I have skipped the takeaway exam. So instead, during the in-class exam, you have essay questions, right? They won't be very long. They will be shorter than the takeaway exam. But you will write everything on spot, right? So you will have still the same structure of having a bit longer answers and very short, just mechanic, basically checking if you have read the literature, right? So both still analytical thinking and just checking the learned knowledge. But I've chosen to put everything in an in-class exam for several reasons, right? Because it takes forever for me with the system, with the DISCO system, it takes forever to track everything and respond on email and everything. So I prefer to have everything and check everything. And I think for you, it also saves you time, right? It's a different way of checking, so no references are required during an in-class exam, obviously. But I think, but generally the idea is the same, right? That I check both types of knowledge, right? Okay, so apart from the in-class exam, which is 70% of the final grade, you also have a seminar paper to write, right? That's seminar 3, so it's the last seminar on the course. And the idea there is that you, in pairs, write a paper. The instructions are all here, and I'll talk about it a bit more in detail further on. But what I have done already now, and what I want you to start thinking already now about, is who you want to write with, right? So find someone who you think has equal ambition level. That's the good strategy generally, right? Who you think might work. You will write your BA thesis in pairs as well. So this is a good practice, right? How do we work? Is this a good person to work with then when we write our thesis in the end, right? So think about it. And I have put a page on my door. You know where my office is? Right? Everybody knows that?
Yeah.
The IPA corridor. Right?
Yeah.
First door to the left. So it's on my door, and I have, it's 4 slots, so you see it in the schedule, right? 4 slots for seminars. You choose when you want to come. First come, first choose, right? So if it's full, you have to take another time, right? That's basically it. It will be there, the page will be there for 2 weeks. Then I take it down. So you have plenty of time to think about who you want to choose, but if you know already, go and pick a time that suits you, right? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. And I know you will have a lot of questions about writing this paper. I'm here. We have several seminars. We have several lectures. Obviously, come forward and ask me, right? Okay. Any questions about the structure or anything general about the course?
No.
No? Good. I know you will have questions, so...
I just see this.
Okay. So, this is the introductory lecture. So I'll talk about very generally what is public administration, how do we study it, where do we study it, and so on, right? Just to get you going and get you into the topic. So, one thing that we know for sure is that regular citizens meet public administration much more often than those other democratic institutions that we elect, like parliament, government, and even judges, right? Some of us meet judges more than others, but generally, public administration is the usual face of the state, right? These are the ones that we meet in everyday life, as policemen, as tax officers, as unemployment officers, as teachers in schools. So a lot of them we interact with them daily. This is why the way we perceive them is crucial for our understanding of how democracy works. If this part of the state doesn't work, if the policemen, teachers, doctors, whoever are corrupt, we will have a perception of the state as a corrupt state, right? No matter how fair elections we have. So this is really crucial. And this is, generally in democracies, right? It's not about that you as EPA students will end up there, but for the perception of how a state functions, it's crucial, absolutely crucial. So these are some examples of what public administration is, right? So regional level, våra kommunhus, so at regional level of democracy structures where political decisions are implemented, tax agencies, right? So different ways, right? And this is the UN, right? So you have both international and just several national, regional, and local agencies that prepare and implement political decisions, right? This is what public administration does. They both prepare and then implement. So they're crucial, right? Which direction the decisions should take, what specific solutions there should be. This is the politicians do that, right? We elect them to decide about the broad direction. But then preparing the more specifics of those decisions and implementing those decisions, public administration does that, right? And this is a simplified scheme of a political system, right? DLA course was here, right? This is what we did. And obviously you should know that this is a simplified thing, right? A scheme that works for Sweden, for example, when we have parliamentary democracy, right? So we elect a parliament, and then the situation we have now, right? They have to somehow from the grouping that we have elected choose the government, right? And they have some trouble with that now, right? In other systems, we also elect parts of the executive, right? So the people, right, the broader demo, elects also the executive, right? The president who elects or appoints the government and the rest of the executive. But generally, this is the input side, right? They decide, we elect them, they decide the decision, and then this is the output side, so-called output side. So this is when they have decided, then those public officials working in civil servants, working in public administration, they take over, right? Mm-hmm. So they're given the decisions and they have to make something about them. Right? Usually, this structure doesn't change with elections. It depends on the systems, right? In some systems, some public administration officers are politically appointed. Usually there will be a different size of this, but majority of these people stay there. Right? This is their professional job. They stay there no matter what political option is in power, which means that they gain a different status, right? They know the rules. They're very well acquainted with how the whole system works and how to work around the political decisions and so on. We'll talk about it more when we discuss politicization of public administration.
Okay, I guess probably the heads of the agency in public administration are the ones that are politically...
Yeah. Usually the top public administrators will be changed, but not the whole army of civil servants. It's impossible to switch the whole troop of these, right? So they will stay, and they will keep on working as usual, no matter what political option is chosen. Right? But we'll talk about this specific tension later on, right? And it is the public administration that produces outputs and outcome, right? It's not a direct link from we select politicians or elect politicians and then they make decisions and we see the results of these. No, in between we have the whole sphere or buffer or whatever you call it of public administration. What is the difference between output and outcome? Do you know that? In the public administration discussions, it's quite important.
So there's a question here. Due to probably political change, can probably when there's a change in can they change the ethics of each agencies?
Ethics, we will talk about ethics. Ethics is usually coded in regulations, right? It's part of ethics is something that a moral that you have internalized, right? A way you think is right to do, like what you think is right to do. But part of it is codified in regulations, right? So these are written down, right? And of course, you can change them. As every regulation in an organization, it can be changed, right? But usually these are things that are quite difficult. They tend to be very slow in changing, right? They're there. So it shouldn't change with them. But of course, if there is a new political option in power that has totally different ideas about how things should, I don't know, for example, it rushes, right? It needs very quick decisions and implementing very quick decisions. It will change the way public administration operates, right? But we will talk about, because this tension between this side and this side, I think, is the most interesting part of this course, actually, right? This actually shows you a lot of very important aspects, right? And also from the political science perspective, it's fascinating. Which one has the most power? Which one has more legitimacy, and so on, right? It's really interesting. So we will get back to it because they have a lot of different instruments to obstruct the decisions of politicians, even though they want certain things. Okay, but the difference between output